Hi, it's Kelly. I wanted to make a quick video for those of you who asked me about Google Forms and how to use them for your intake forms. I know some of you have gotten copies of my intake forms for your own use. So I'll go through both editing a form and also starting from scratch and creating your own. So let's jump right in. If you're in your drive and you want to create a new form, you can come on over. So if you press new, that's one way to do it. You can get the Google Forms there. Let's do it that way. And we can do a blank form, or we can do quiz or from a template. So if you choose a template, you'll see that there are several to pick from. Different categories, different types. I'm going to just close that out so that I can show from scratch, just creating a new one. Okay, so it brings you this blank form, and we can start right here with the title and a description by just clicking in the box and deleting, titling it whatever you want. I'll just say, whoops, new form. Okay, come on, I'm trying to delete. There's a glitch. That's very strange. So there's a glitch. It won't let me delete what was there unless I start typing first. Okay. And then description. You can put a little direction here if you want. You can do italics, bold, underline, a few different options that you can choose. If you want to insert a link on your form, you can do that as well. You can bullet. Okay. And then we start with our questions. So the first question here, if we just click on that box, you'll see untitled question. You can write your question in here by deleting and typing your question. So there's different options. You have multiple choice. Looks like that. Short answer for someone to type in their own response. A longer answer for paragraph format. Giving them more space. You can do check boxes. And then what you would do is you would put in your options here, either yes, no, something like that. Drop downs. You can also do a file upload. It was my understanding that both people, the person that you send this to would have to be using Google Chrome in order to be able to upload a file. They would have to be actually signed into their Google account. Someone else just mentioned to me now that they were able to send it out to all of their clients, and the clients were able to upload files regardless of whether they were signed in or not. And I'm wondering if it has to do with if the person who's filling it out is opening the form on Chrome, they might be able to upload a file. So that is something I have to actually look into further to see if anyone can upload a file or if you need to be signed into Google to do that. It's a cool feature because if anyone's able to upload a file, and say you're looking to get a signature or a copy of some kind of insurance card or something, this would be an easy way for them to take a picture and then upload it to your form directly. But again, I'm not positive on that right now. I'm going to find out what the scoop is on that. Linear scale, if you want to say, how do you feel your stuttering is in X situation on a scale of 1 to 5? You can create a scale in that format. Multiple choice grid, checkbox grid. And then if you want to do a question for the date, it sets up the format for you and time as well. So I'm going to just do multiple choice as our example, and I'll just do yes. No, it kind of is a smart response. So it sees if you typed yes, that you're likely to, as your next response to type no. So it does that for you. You can change it if you want to. You can add another like that. If you want to make the form required, you would toggle that on. And this way the person could not submit the form unless the answers were completed where you chose required. If you want to just trash this one and start over, just hit delete. And if you want to copy it again with perhaps a different question, you can just copy it and then change the question. These 3 dots, if you want to click show description, then you can add a little description there to your question. I'm going to uncheck that and go to section based on answer. So you can do kind of an if-then sort of situation here. So if they answer, say, for example, yes, you would sort of tell it what to do next on the form, which is kind of cool. And I'll take that off. And then you can also shuffle the questions if you want to. I like them in the order that I give them for the purpose of history forms, history intakes. Okay, so then adding a title and description. So if you want to, okay, I jumped ahead. That was our first question. For the next box, if you want to add a question, you would click this and it adds another question box. I don't really use the import questions feature, but I guess you can import those from another form. Let's just see what that does. Okay, so you would do, it would allow you to select another form and upload questions from that, which is kind of cool. Okay, so this box, what I just did here before, adding title and description. So this will give you an option for if you want to make sections on your form and you want to do a little description maybe between sections, you could do this title and description box as sort of a little separator. So it won't be a question, it'll just be a little chunk of text. You can add an image, and this would be something that you could search Google Images for free images or upload your own by browsing in your files. Same thing for a video. And then this is the section. So if you want to say have, their personal information section, address, phone number, etc., date of birth, and then you wanted to do developmental history or birth history section, whatever it is, you would do maybe hit those 2 lines right there, and that will create another section for you that you can actually title, and then you can go on and create more questions for that category or for that section. Okay, so those are all the different ways to add more questions to your forms. This is the responses. So whenever someone responds to the form, their responses will be found here in this section within the form. If you open up that form in your Drive, you'll see the questions that you can always edit, and then you'll see responses. And you can go through and see who's responded and what their responses were. You can, I'll show you in one that I have where, let's see if I can pop that open now and show you. Trying to see if there's one I filled out to give you an example. I don't think there is actually. Do I have responses? Nope. Okay. So what would normally happen if someone has responded is that you would see individual responses. And if you click individual, you can see what each individual responded versus the whole group of respondents. So different settings, you can make it a quiz if you were using this for a school setting as a teacher or something. Responses, let's click that here. So you can collect email addresses if you would like for each of the forms submitted. I usually keep that off. I do ask them for their email address as one of my questions. You can send a copy of their response. I just keep that off. Allow response editing. I typically don't allow that. So this one right here, restrict to users in Workspace Therapists or whatever your organization is. So this will require people to be signed in to Google in order to fill out the form. You don't want to do this. Okay, you want to make it so that whoever you send it to can open it up. So you will need to definitely go into your settings and adjust that. Limit to one response. That's up to you. If you want them to just fill this form out once, you could toggle that on. How it's presented. So you can show them a progress bar as they're completing and see how far they've gone in the form. You can shuffle the questions. You can give them a confirmation message when they're done, and you can edit it. You can just say whatever it says here. You can say thank you. You can give them maybe a follow-up step that they need to do next after they've submitted it if you'd like to here. So you can type anything you want. You can have them respond again if they want to, but it's disabled for me right now. View results summary, share results summary with the respondents if you'd like. Turn that on. I just keep these things off. And then form defaults. Collect email addresses if you want to. You can make that a default. And then if you'd like to, you can make all questions required. I keep that off because there are some questions, if they're not applicable, they might not fill them out. And that's fine. Okay, so those are the settings. Now this little guy right there, that little puzzle piece, those are add-ons. So there is an add-on called Form Publisher that allows you to take the submissions that you've received and have them sent to your drive as a Google Doc and or a PDF. I do use that. It's a whole nother add-on, and it's a whole nother video. Actually, I'd have to explain how that works, but there is an add-on called Forms Publisher. It is free and it is HIPAA compliant if you sign a BAA with them. So that's kind of a cool way to get your history forms sent in PDF form so you can save it to each client's folder also. So that's what that little puzzle piece is. This is the theme. So this is where, let me just click out of that for a second. In the form, if you would like to adjust your text, the size, as far as the header questions, you can choose an image to upload. So if you've gotten the forms from me and I have just those generic images up there that I've chosen that were free from Google, you can just adjust this, upload your own logo, and put that right up there and make your own header so you can personalize it. And you can change the color as well. We started with purple. You can do a variety. If you have logo colors, you can add that here by adding a custom color. If you have that hex code, you can just type that in and it'll change the color for you, which is neat. I'll go back to purple and then a background color as well. So that's what the theme section is. This little eye here lets you preview what it would look like for the person you send it to. Just going to close that. This undo is if you've done something with the text or whatever that you don't like and you're like, I want to go back. What did I do? This is like your delete. It just undoes whatever you just did and brings you back to your last step. And then redo is if you've undone it and you want to go back, hit redo. These three dots here You can make a copy of the form, trash it, get a pre-filled link. So if we click that, it gives you a link to the form like that. And 3 dots again, you can print it. If someone's filled it out and you want to print out their responses, you could, I suppose, do that too. I've never done that. You can add collaborators to your form. Script editor, I think this has something to do with if you're going to be writing some code and changing the form in that way. It's a little advanced, out of my area of expertise. I don't touch that. And this is add-ons. So if we click that, you can see here that it brings you to the marketplace, and you can actually look up some different add-ons that work with your form. So this is the one I was explaining, telling you about before, Form Publisher. So you would click on that. And if you're an admin on your account, you can just do admin install. And you can get going on that. There are lots of videos on YouTube that explain how Form Publisher works. I will eventually get around to making one. Okay, so those are the add-ons. And so I'm going to close this. And then I'm going to open just one of the forms that I have already filled out. I'll just open school age history. Okay, so you've gotten this form, say, from me, and you want to adjust it a little bit. It's very simple. If you want to change the header, like I said, you're going to come to, hang on, it's a little slow. Okay. Still loading. Okay. Still loading. Okay. Theme. So I clicked theme. You can change my image by clicking the header right there. You can change the color to fit your custom colors, text, whatever you want. And then, of course, I have it broken down into sections, and I have certain questions required. You can just go through and literally click on each one and make the changes that you want to for the forms. They don't have to stay as you've received them. You can change them to be whatever you want. So the editing is really simple. Just click and make your changes. And that is pretty much it for forms. If there's something that I didn't talk about that you want to know more about, let me know. Otherwise, that is it. Have a good day.